It is just about 1 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon, um, June 8th. I'm watching our friend Reverend Terminator get in some upper body work from June 5th, 6th, and 8th. We also got um, our friends up for Worldwide Burpee Day. Right now we have Burpee Reaper, we have Scott, we have Burpee Yoga Uncle, Duncan Walsh, and Osiris, all of our favorite people. Many of our favorite people. Um, Getting their reps in. Pretty awesome. As well, we had Eric LaPointe getting his burpee reps in and doing an amazing job. He stepped right up with um, one pumps and some Navy SEALs, some rocking chairs, um, some 5 pumps, followed by Psycho, well, a Psycho. Our friend Horror of Spice is here. Vincent, how are you? I looked on your channel and didn't see that you guys went live again. Everyone okay? So that's what seems to be going around on the YouTube community. I have a feeling today might be a quiet day. Vincent says, well, go to content, click live, it's the top one. I will do so. One moment. Let's see. My cat is sitting here staring at me. Yeah, so with so much going on, as I was saying, I suspect that it's going to be a pretty slowish chat today and maybe this evening. But weekends are just weird. Let's see, we'll go to content, then click live. I'm reading directions. The only one that I see is Death With-a-thon. Flower's here. Flower says, how are you? Flower, how are you? We got a hey, hey, Flower power. That's right. Flower is a force. So, Horse Rice says, I will check to see if it's setting to public. Awesome. I'll keep checking in. Flower says, haha, hi, sir, Whore of Spice. What's new in the world of Flower? I'm going to click on my desktop to have the live up and running, just in case. So, if I'm quiet from time to time, it just seems to be the type of day that it is. So it might be a quiet session, but hey, throw something out there, guys. What do you want to talk about? You can ask me a question. Maybe I should have titled it uh, Ask Yogi Anything. Ask Yogi a question. Uh, let's see. Someone new is going to click on and see me sitting here not saying anything, and they're going to be like, why does anyone show up for this guy? But you know what? Sometimes the best conversations take place through a little bit of silence. Meaning that it's good to take a little bit of break from speaking and let things sit for a bit, digest mentally. All right, so we're back on Horror of Spice. I'm going to refresh. Horror of the Spice is live 14 hours ago. So I have them up and ready. When we're done the conversation, I'm going to come back up here. We'll talk for a little bit, and I'll put it on. An hour and 17 minutes and 51 seconds. Vincent says that he thought YouTube had set it to private, and he fixed it. Awesome. Our friend Lewis and Duncan Walsh are just about ready to hit 1,000 reps. If they haven't already, they might have. It's called the Holy Grail in the burpee world. You get 1,000 one-pump burpees. Looks like Lewis is back up on deck, getting ready to do some more reps. No, according to Destiny, they are finished. Awesome. Or Spice says, nice. Congratulations, guys. Yeah. Amazing job. Duncan Walsh is still going. This is Worldwide Burpee Day. So Osiris had it set up so that someone would be doing burpees for an hour across every time zone around the world. Which is pretty amazing. Not just physically, logistically speaking, to have that set up. What a great job. So there's a few more hours, I think, before they will reach overall the finish point. So let's see. And I saw that our friend Barb was up. She was up live. She's having a rough time. So, guys who send out prayers, or guys that send out energy, or guys that send out love, good vibes, whatever, we can send some to our friend Barb. As well as her husband, Wolf, who's suffering from some pretty traumatic back pain. Let's see. Horror Spice says, well, I have physical therapy. Namaste to all. Namaste to you, my friend. I'm not sure what's the proper wish for physical therapy. You can't say have a good time. It might be a good time. You can't say, work hard. I guess you can say work hard. It just doesn't seem like a very soothing message to send off somebody with. So I think Namaste works well. Namaste just sends you good vibes so that your therapy will be exactly what you need for today. We'll leave it at that. Best wishes to Horror of Spice. Or as we know him, Vincent. I just visited Flower's page to see if anything new is up. Flower is still holding steady with 57 subscribers. I'm hoping for some new content soon. Some back to drawing. Did I mention my friend Hank's art? See if I can bring him up. And maybe I can attempt to drop a link. See if this works. I think may or may not work. I think that this is good for, this is a great channel for Flower as well as Night Watcher. Hank is a young man. I'm trying to think where he is located. I believe South America. I could be wrong about that though. And anyway, doesn't matter where he's from. What matters is he's a very talented artist, and he does amazing drawing that he speeds up. So like just for an example, I'm clicking on his videos. He has how to draw a cute chicken. Does it in 1 minute and 33 seconds. Again, he speeds it up. How to draw a cute umbrella, how to draw a cute apple tree. I've been supporting him for, I guess, about a year or so, and he's been a great support for me as well. I'd love to see Flower and Night Watcher do their own style, something similar, where they just, 1 minute and 31 seconds, 2 minutes. You just draw, well, you draw, and then you speed it up, and then you post it. So you pick a topic or a subject, and you draw it in your own unique fashion, as only you guys can do, and then you speed it up. I don't know the whole how to edit something like that at all, even a little bit. But I'm sure people younger, smarter, more technically advanced, and energetic probably know how to do something like that. So, anyway, that is just a suggestion. Not necessarily something that you might want to consider. I just think that you guys are so talented that I'd love to see you put your content out. The content that you put out, I'd love to see it related to your particular art form. I always think, and again, when I say I always think, just my opinion, so it means absolutely nothing, nor should it. Although, if someone listens to it and they find that it has maybe a grain of truth or inspiration, that would be awesome. That everyone's channel should be a reflection upon the things that they love, whatever that might be. So that was why, my suggestion for our friend Laradox is a young person's Christian channel, as he loves to come here and talk about Christianity, which is absolutely fine. But imagine if his channel was devoted to that. People from all over who'd need that information, people his age, younger, a little older, would absolutely love someone that could offer a little bit of guidance like that. Now, of course, my own view, of Christianity has absolutely nothing to do with social commentary. Religion shouldn't have anything to do with social commentary. Um, that if you are living a life that is Christ-based, that takes care of itself. Um, if you are living a life that is Buddhist-based, that takes care of itself. Any of the social commentary that takes place in a church or a religion is not really based upon biblical teaching. Most certainly not Christianity. It is based upon the people who are offering it. It is based upon commentators themselves, not that of which they are commentating on, if that makes sense. So, when Jesus offered concise teachings in the Beatitudes, or when he pointed to where the kingdom of heaven was located, when he mentioned the greatest of commandments, love God with heart, soul, mind, and treat others as you yourself would like to be treated, or treat others as yourself. He didn't add anything extra. He didn't say, oh, and by the way, dislike gay people, or by the way, love others as you love yourself, unless that other happens to be gay, or unless that other happens to be transgender, or unless that other happens to be this or that or whatever. Didn't add any of that. As I always point out with Genesis, on the sixth day, right before God took a rest, he surveyed everything that he created, and he declares a definitive voice of strength. There's no wavering. He declared, or she, as the case may be. If you go by the Tao Te Ching, the Tao itself, the womb of creation, is both female and male. So you can go either way. He declared everything was good. Again, he didn't waffle. He didn't say everything is good except, man, why did I create poison ivy? Or what's that, funny looking bird that everyone's calling an ostrich? Why did I do that? Why did I create gay people? Why did I create transgender people? Why did I do this? Why did I do that? Why did I create the possibility of abortion? I'm not getting political, or even overly religious. Just questions. The thing is that when God surveyed all of his creation, he said it was all good. And that leaves absolutely nothing out whatsoever. Some people might say, let's not worry about what some people might say. Let's swerve. Let's do a big, massive swerve. And if anyone happens to pop in, like I said, it's a busy day in the YouTube community, so I don't know as we'll get a whole lot of visitors today. Let's take a little swerve. But if anyone happens to pop in and they have a topic they want to talk about, hey, now's a good time, because we don't have a whole lot of traffic. Not that we get tons anyway, but sometimes even a little bit, it's hard for me to keep up. So when we have this light conversation going on, it should be pretty easy for me to keep up. We could talk about almost anything. So it seemed like I was heading a little more towards a political, and I, generally speaking, I don't talk politics here. I don't debate politics. I don't argue politics. Everyone is free to have their own political opinion. Sometimes people come in and put theirs out there, and I generally give it a good word, and I mention, don't really talk politics. The reason being, well, lots of reasons. I want people to feel good when they come here. I want people to feel heard. I don't want anyone shouted down because they think differently than anyone else, whatever that may be. I don't want to, I also don't like using really the terms conservative, liberal. I think people could, if they needed to apply a term to me, they could figure it out pretty quick which direction I might lean. However, I personally refuse to allow myself to be conformed within a label. That, I think it was Pascal that said, once you label me, you negate me. Meaning if you come in here and it says that he's just a liberal, the conversation's over, because you're no longer seeing me as a person, as a neighbor, as a friend. You're seeing me as a liberal. The same as if I went to your channel and said, you're a conservative. Truth is, no one really knows what I am, including myself. But when I do put out a hint of my politics, I always paraphrase the Dalai Lama when he talked about religion. When he went to the World Religious Leaders Conference, and everyone was standing up and saying their name and their title and their religion. And when it got time for the Dalai Lama, he stood up and simply said, my religion is kindness. I remember hearing that. I was fairly young. And I thought, exactly, yes. My politics are kindness. I vote with my heart. My true heart. A lot of people think, well, if you vote with your heart, that's going to lead you to make sentimental choices, that you're going to be kind without any fabric of strength within it. But your true heart and true kindness, true openness, is the very source of strength. If you're not being kind, no matter what action you're taking, then you're not truly being strong. Which is the case if you... Why is it that Christianity is the world's most popular religion? Jesus wasn't a warrior declaring how to conquer the world. He taught the art and the act of love, kindness, and forgiveness. It's the prayer, Lamb of Jesus. Wasn't the Lion of Jesus. Let's see. So yeah, several times in the Bible, John the Baptist sees Jesus and exclaims, behold the Lamb of God who takes away the sins of the world. So interesting thoughts. But again, hey, we can change the subject at any time. I'm just rambling on right now. I'm taking advantage of the room largely to myself and just rambling and rambling and rambling. So if someone wants to stop me, just throw something out there. With the lack of that, I will tell you why why my religion, why my politics is all guided by the path of yoga. Because yoga's true aim, it's not physical fitness, it's not flexibility, unless we think of it as flexibility of the mind. It's not just pranayama. All of those are part of it. What it is the reduction, the examination of our suffering, how to alleviate our suffering, and in doing so, how we alleviate the suffering of others. In this way, you could see it's a close connection to Buddhism, as well as close connection to Jainism. Miramed, how are you, sir? I'm fine, how are you? Appreciate you stopping in. I've been having you up and playing. Flower says, why is it so quiet in the chat? Well, it's Saturday, and I mentioned it's Worldwide Burpee Day, so a lot of people are tuning in, checking out the burpees, and um, people are out and about. I take it as it comes. People show up, they hang out. People don't show up, I still hang out. So I certainly don't expect people to show up all the time. I don't expect people to stay. It's just how life works, Classy and Crazy is here. Classy and Crazy says, hi. Hello, my friend. So that's why I said, hey, when there's only a few people here, you guys can throw out any topic you want. We'll talk about pretty much whatever. In the absence of a topic, I have a tendency to ramble on about all kinds of stuff. Flower says that she's good. Demir, and how are you? Classy and Crazy says, how are you today? I'm doing pretty well today. A little bit of noise in my backyard. They're clearing up after the tornado hit. Amazingly, there was only one tornado in the whole storm made touchdown, and it was directly in my backyard. No houses were touched, but a lot of trees were uprooted. I think they said 12 cars were completely crushed. So boy, did we dodge a bullet. Mir says that he is good, my friend. Thanks. Glad to hear that. Classic Crazy says, well, yeah, boy, did I get lucky. So between the noise and there was a race going on this afternoon. I think it was like a cross-country meet for some of the school kids out of school. There's a local track club. When I took my second walk, there wasn't a whole lot to see. Usually we see a wide variety of birds. We'll see deer, all kinds of stuff. But not this afternoon. But this morning, when I was out, my first walk, which was just after 5 o'clock in the morning, I saw 3 fox, and I saw an owl that was being harassed by a bird. Dottie's here. Dottie says, hello, my friends. Dottie, how are you? Let's see. Classy says, have to say I'm very respectful of tornadoes. Oh yeah, you have to be. I have to admit that I took it pretty lightly because we never had a tornado touch down here before. In 50 plus years of living here, we've had tornado warnings, but we never took them seriously because they just don't happen, or they didn't used to happen. And now all of a sudden they're happening more and more. So the other night was a wake-up call for me. When it says seek shelter, I'm going to seek shelter, that's for sure. So Dottie, how are you? Dottie says she's good. So yeah, my morning walk, early morning walk, more than made up for the second walk, where we didn't really see much of anything. Daddy says, can I mention my first weekly Sunday scheduled video tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. GMT? You certainly can. As a matter of fact, if I can do it. We have it pinned. So now, whoever happens to come into the conversation is going to be able to see it. So this will be like a premiere, right? I thought about doing a premiere. It's supposed to be very good for watch hours. Hey, Flower, did you see what I mentioned above about Hank's art? Hank is an artist friend of mine, has a wonderful channel. I think that you'd really like visiting him. Dottie says, thank you, Eric. It will be every week, same slot, following the van build. I guess it is a premiere. Awesome. It'll give me something to look forward to every week. Hey, Dottie, do you have a projection time in how long you think it might take you to finish the van? How long you'd be working on it? Dottie says, thanks, Eric. Much appreciated. It's hard to believe that after 1,000 reps, the Burpee Reaper would show up to say hi. You think he'd be lying on his back with his wife feeding him burritos as he'd be unable to lift his arms up. Eric Point says, I'm shocked also. Speaking of shocked, speaking of burpees, our friend Eric Lapointe stepped up like a champ. For one thing, Eric Lapointe, 112 subscribers. That alone calls for a salute. And then, have you guys checked out his page? Celebration of Worldwide Burpee Day. Hey, this is when the elites of the elites, the Burpee Reapers, the Duncan Walshes, the Unks, the David Wittens, the Osiris's, when they get together and they put in big reps. And our friend Eric Lapointe said, hey, this is the day I'm also going to make my debut. And he knocked it out of the ballpark. We had one pumps, we had Navy SEALs, we had rocking chairs right out of the book of the Burpee Reaper. We had 5 pumps. And then we had a smorgasbord. I'm not going to be able to say that, but you know what I'm saying. And then he finished it off. He topped it off with a psycho burpee. Reaper says, I got to show you love, Eric. Appreciate that. I have a few questions for you, too. If you're up for it. Eric says, a point. I will check it out. You'll be proud, Lewis. I see the influence of the Burpee Reaper in those reps. I see the smoothness. He has definitely spent time diagnostically, studying your form. Dottie says, the finish inside will be hopefully end of August. Then October, it will be getting its new roof. Then next April, the whole of the van will be painted and its new colors. Awesome. Hey, do you have something planned in celebration? A trip? That would be pretty awesome. Burpee Reaper says, ask away. I'm switching my workouts a little bit. I like what you do with some weights beforehand. And you told me a while back that you break it up into body parts. You'll do a back day, a chest day, shoulder day, arms day. I don't remember what you said for legs. And then you start the cycle over again. So I believe you said you do 2 or 3 sets of just one exercise. So for some reason, well, it's always intrigued me since you brought that up. And I figured, you know what, better time now, because I need a bit of a break. I'm coming up on 900 days of burpees in a row. I certainly don't want to stop burpees, but I thought, you know what, introduce the weights first, because it's been a little bit of time since I've lifted and I miss it. And then follow it up with 100 burpees. And I'll still do my Duncan Walsh inspired intervals, that kind of stuff. Once a week before I start to cycle over again, I'll do a long 20 or 30-minute session and see how it goes. So let me know if that outline sounds about right to you. Eric Point says, watching Lewis today was nuts. Great work, my friend. What's nuts is how often he's been hitting those 1,000 reps. I would need about 9 months to recover. Dottie says, then after a service and knew not, I will be traveling the UK. That's what I was wondering, including Wales, Scotland, Isle of Man, and Ireland. That's awesome. Man, Dottie, your channel is going to take off. Watching the van updates, people knowing that plan, that you're getting this vehicle in shape for a mega trip. Man, I'd love to visit all of those places. I don't know much about Isle of Man. I'm going to have to look that up. Reaper says, okay, I got Yurick. Awesome. So like today I did 3 sets of pull-ups, followed with 100 plus 1 pumps. Tomorrow I'm going to do my dips. And I think I'm going to do 1 high rep set of dips. And then I'm going to put on my belt and do a weighted set of dips. And then I'll do my burpees. Probably 2 pumps, maybe Navy SEALs. Then I'm going to do shoulders the day after. Arms. Some sort of legs. We'll see what's up. I don't think I'm ready for goblet squats. I don't think my back is ready. It's still recovering. And then I'll do my long burpee session, and then I'll start to cycle over again. So it'll be, 7 days a week. Dottie says, rules will be first trip. I'll be going to some awesome places, mines, plane spotting, and filming a few smaller mountain hikes. Awesome. Wales just looks like a fabulous, fabulous place to visit. I was almost about to say country, but I guess technically it's not a country, or technically it is a country. And the video your son did, I just love watching. Dottie says, I hope so. Eric, I mentioned this last time you popped in, how happy I am that you're standing your ground. And it seems like maybe that has passed the harassment, I hope. So that people are going to get a witness to see Daddy Dora UK Explorer in all of her glory, all of her happiness, doing what she absolutely loves to be doing. I'm happy that I get to be part of that. So, Reaper says, so yes, I work out a body part every day, but I switch it up every day. One day arms, the next shoulders, and then chest. I mix leg work in between the days, just like back. Okay, so you will do in between the days. So basically, I work out a body part every day, giving that body part 3 days off before I hit it again. So let's see. In other words, that like if you do arms, the next day will be legs, and then you do shoulders, and then you do back, and then you do I think I got it. Yeah, I think the way I described it is I end up would just be one body part a week, which maybe at my advanced stage that might be a good way to approach it. We'll see. I do like the thought of doing it once every 3 days, though. Hitting a body part once every 3 days. Daddy says, I'm going there because my German great-grandfather was in prison there during First World War because he was classed as an alien of the state. Interesting. Yeah, I'm going to look up Isle of Man when we're done. Daddy says she'll actually be going to the site of the intermittent camp. Wow. Amazing that just the other day, the 80th anniversary of Normandy, storming the beach, and there's still people alive who were there, which is amazing in and of itself. And it just occurred to me, my father was 17 when he signed up in the Navy in World War II. So he was pretty young. He passed away, he was 94. And you think the older people, there can't be that many left. Sad to think about that connection being severed. Eric LaPointe says, that sounds like quite the trip, Dottie. Yeah, it does. Dottie says it will be amazing, Eric P. This is why I'm getting my van upgraded for it all. And that's even more amazing, that you be doing that trip in your van. So it's like Dottie is combining everything she loves in one fell swoop. If guys haven't seen the pinned message, check it out. It's for Dottie. She is going to do her premiere. 7:30. Let's see. Let me make sure I get that right. First weekly Sunday schedule video tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. GMT. So if guys can check it out, if you don't make it to the premiere, check it out afterwards. As well, once again, I got to mention, you got to check out Eric LaPointe. Seriously, Eric, you look like a pro. The only, right at the end, your last, when you were demonstrating, and I think it's because the 5 pumps are confusing, and you mentioned that as well. Other than that, man, it was seamless. Daddy says that's London time, so not sure what time it will be in your neck of the woods. For me, I think that's a good question. I'm trying to think in terms of what time our friends Duncan Walsh and Hybrid Jim say it is. I think when I'm live around 2 or around 1, they're eating dinner. So let's say 5 o'clock. So let's say 4 hours, 4-ish. You guys are ahead by 4 hours. So I'm checking out the short that Eric put up. The rocking chair. He's got the stomach strike on point. So it's a rocking chair Navy SEAL. So again, you know who's responsible for that. Our friend the Burpee Reaper has his thumbprint, his signature. So here's my question to Eric LaPointe. What's next? And by what next, I mean, do you have a plan of how you want to approach your burpees from this point on? Or a couple days a week, a few every day? Are you going to start a streak? Daddy says I have to go now. Eric Point says, yep, Lewis, I have to go now. She's dog sitting for my daughter this weekend. Love and peace to you all. Love and peace to you, my friend. Appreciate you coming by. We're having a slow Saturday, as to be expected with Worldwide Burpee Day. I see our friend Jacob is up. I think this might be his second. Duncan Walsh is still going like a machine that he is. And Osiris has been almost 24 hours, it seems, doing something. Either logistically setting something up or doing burpees. How amazing is that? Barb is here. Barb, how are you, my friend? Eric Point says, no, I have no plan, but I should definitely make one. So, obviously, I mentioned before, I'm a fan of Max Edwards, Busy Dad. I don't know if it's the best place for everyone. I don't know if everyone needs to chase reps. And I've had some conversations with Lewis about this before. And he actually helped steer me in this direction a bit. Just get the reps in. Don't worry about how long it takes. So with the Busy Dad, you know, you're shooting for a number. And you want to shoot for it almost every session. You get 80 minutes. However you want to divide that 80 minutes up per week. But generally you want to do 20-minute sessions so that you can gauge your progress. The thing is, I'm not sure one rep more than last time is the best way of gauging progress. Because what are you gauging? What is the actual progress that you're measuring? And it depends on what you're training for. That's the big thing. For me, you know, a lot of people mention me training every day. Should I train every day? Why don't I take a day off? For me, it's as much about mental health as it is about my physical health. I don't even distinguish between the two. And that daily activity feels, for me, essential. So I do it every day. I used to do all-out sessions every day, but for a long time I did it, 2 years. I eased up on it, not because physically, more so mentally, I felt called to take it more towards a yogic path, making it a little more what felt holistic for me. Barb says, hugs and blessings to everyone, and let's see. Barb says, okay, I guess. How are the sinuses? Any better? And how is Wolf's back? I hope he's feeling better. So I imagine our friend Lewis is off eating donuts right now. Refueling. He'll be back tomorrow hitting reps. I want to throw out there, I mentioned as well, our friend Horror of Spice went live last night, and he has it up on his channel now. If you guys are subscribed, if you're not subscribed, definitely check him out. Vincent has a really fun channel that I enjoy visiting when I get the chance, and I try to make a chance whenever I see something new come up. Flower says, "Where's Night Watcher?" You know, it's been about 2 days since I've seen Night Watcher. So I don't know where he's been. I thought maybe you might have talked to him. Our friend Squirrel Sniper is here. Greetings, beautiful souls from across the pond, but under the same skies. Squirrel Sniper, how you doing? Dark Point says he missed Horror of Spice's live stream. If you get a chance, definitely check it out. I'm gonna do it after we talk for a bit. Hey, Flower, aren't you in touch with Night Watcher? Or Helvetica? That's it, Helvetica, as he now wishes to be called. I do my best to get all of that. When somebody comes with their channel, I definitely want to respect it. And Squirrel Sniper, how's your carvings going? I'm looking up and seeing if there's any updates. So we'll take advantage of having you here to let us know. And our good friend Joe Delaney is here. Happy Saturday, everyone. Joe, how are you? Hey, Joe. I see from your YouTube shorts, as well as other stuff, what you do in the gym. But I don't recall talking to you about diet too much. What did, dietary-wise, 2 questions. Dietary-wise, what did you do to lose that much weight? Simply calorie restriction? Or something different, something other? Of course, calorie restriction always plays some kind of role. And what are you doing now? Are you doing anything differently? If you'd like to talk about it. But I know people following your journey might really be interested in hearing that approach. And on another note, on a Saturday, when people could be doing almost anything, people could be doing almost anything more fun than listening to a yogi in his office talking about stuff. I appreciate people even just stopping by to say hi. So thank you guys very much. And let's see. I see, according to Worldwide Burpee Day updates, that Burpee Bandit, who is in Australia. Burpee Bandit occasionally stops by to chat. He's a good guy. Always enjoy talking with him. Joe Delaney says, good, good. And Squirrel Sniper says, hold on at the moment. On hold at the moment. I'm booked to create a totem carving with some more owls. Awesome. I had a great experience with an owl this morning that I did catch on film. Being lightly harassed. I didn't see what kind of bird was driving it away. But imagine the fierceness of a tiny little bird chasing away an owl from her nest. Might have been a red-winged blackbird, as they can be pretty aggressive. But I love seeing that type of devotion to their nests, to their eggs. Male and female. We can learn a lot from birds. So I'd be, Squirrel Sniper says, should be at the end of the month. I'd love hearing, while we're on the topic of things, always talking about things, you and I, we talked about the dowsing, we've talked about the dreaming, we talked about seeing the essence within the grain of the wood. I'd be interested in how you pick out the right piece of wood to do that carving. Barb says, we are listening, but getting ready to leave to meet some friends. I appreciate you listening, my friend. Always appreciate it. As I always appreciate you, Barb. Joe Delaney says, I originally had weight loss surgery when I was 525, and I'm now plant-based diet. Awesome. Happy to hear that. And still keep a clean, wholesome diet. I mentioned before that some people are a little surprised when I recommend plant-based over veganism, me being a vegan. They would think that I'd be very militant about it, and I am very militant about it for myself, not for others. But plant-based basically means eating healthy. And when I say healthy, it's healthy for you, it's healthy for animals, it's healthy for the environment. You just simply eat more plants than you do. You know what? I was going to say you eat more plants than you do meat, but let's leave off meat altogether. I don't mean leave off as in not eating it. Let's just say you simply eat more plants. If you eat more plants, if you fill your plate up with plants, you're naturally, without even thinking about it, you're going to eat less meat. Your heart's going to be healthier, your blood's going to be healthier, your mind's going to be healthier. For me, when I was a personal trainer, had my own business, and people would want to talk about diet, it was always more important what they added than what they took out. If you have half a cup to a cup of your favorite legume every day, everything's going to begin changing for you. If you have 1 to 2 servings of whole grain, everything's going to be changing for you. If you include 1 large salad, if you eat an apple before you have your biggest meal of the day, if I was going to add one more thing. If you have a serving of steamed vegetables, broccoli, kale, everything will begin changing. If you put all that together and you add whatever meat to whatever dish in whatever way that you want, things are going to start changing for you. Diet's not complicated. Eat better. Eat healthy. We all know what healthy is. Jared Delaney says, I originally had surgery in 2005. Did you find that the surgery itself was... what was the results of the surgery? Eric Point says, me and my better half are on a diet right now, and I showed her your page, Joe. She was very impressed. I'm 5'6" and was 240, and now I'm down to 2'8". That's awesome. That's awesome, Eric. Why did I think you were taller than 5'6"? I think it's because you have such a big personality. I think it's because you project, you shine. Um, that's what I think, and I'm sticking with it. In my view, in my estimation, Eric Lapointe is larger than life, as demonstrated by stepping up and doing the burpees. Joe says, that's great, Mr. Lapointe. It is great. It's great for Eric. It's great for his wife, his better half. But you know what else it's great for? It's great that the plan of action for Joe Delaney is being demonstrated. Someone looked at Joe's page and they were inspired. That's what she's doing. That's what Joe's all about. That's what Joe's channel is all about. Joe Delaney says, I eat cheese, so I can't say I'm vegan, but I don't eat meat since April 2022. Awesome. Good for you. Squirrel Semper says, this time I cannot pick. It's a 14-foot trunk of Thuja red cedar. Hey, do you feel a difference working with a piece of wood that you picked versus one that you don't pick? Mir Ahmed says, sorry, sir. Busy at call. That's quite all right, my friend. As I mentioned, I have our friend Mur or Mir. I switch back and forth. I need to be better with that. I have him up and playing through his playlist. I've had him up all day. I love those type of channels where I can just dive in at any time and get a nature fix. Eric Point says, everyone thinks I'm taller than I am. Hey, Eric Lapointe. But first, Eric says, Squirrel Sniper, I can't wait to see that. I love that stuff. Aside from the, I know you play an instrument. I was just wondering, aside from the nature videos, if you have any like art that you do, if you have anything that you do, sort of a, I was going to say a quiet contemplative act. Although, two things. With Squirrel Sniper, of course, chainsaw art isn't a very quiet art, but I'm willing to bet that internally, Squirrel Sniper is extremely quiet when he's doing that. That his mind is very still and focused. It's a meditation for him. Eric the Point says hello to my friend Mir Ahmed. Joe says surgery was only a tool. I've personally done very well with my experience, but I have changed my lifestyle. I used to be able to have a jump start in life. I used it to be able to have a jump start in life. I had my child after original weight loss. I like the fact that you described it as a tool and as a jump start, not as a solution. Did you, as soon as you had the surgery and recovered, obviously, did you like jump right in on an action plan? And sadly, I do know people who used it as a fix-all, a cure-all, and of course, it doesn't happen. And it actually led to quite a bit of distress as they began putting weight back on in a system that has been drastically altered, making it, an extremely, in some cases, I think actually dangerous. So lots of good information out there. Lots of good information from our friend Joe. Um, Joe, with your channel, I know you have some great motivational, inspirational shorts. Um, you thinking about a live stream again sometime, where you might do a open forum on discussing diet, weight loss, inspiration, motivation, and most importantly, a subject that I absolutely love talking to you about, um, traumatic healing, to allow all of that to happen. If you don't heal, no diet's going to work. If you don't heal, no exercise program's going to work. If you don't heal, no surgery is going to work. No one knows that better than Joe Delaney. And the descriptions that you've offered in our conversations here, for me, it's pure gold. Man, I think everyone, regardless of what journey you're on, if it's a journey to lose weight, if it's a journey to recover from something, if you're recovering from addiction, I think your message speaks to everyone across the board. It's definitely, I think of Joe's channel, and I don't think of it as a weight loss channel. I think of it as a recovery, let's not say recovery, let's say restorative, a restorative channel, a healing channel. This is a place you go to heal. Eric says, I used to dabble in art. In middle school. I was worse. I was voted most autistic. Now my art comes out in the form of Christmas tree. A natural art form. Absolutely beautiful. Whenever I talk lifestyle with people, I mentioned the importance of having some type of act of creativity in your life that you make, as much as possible, a daily habit. Even if it's just, if you do origami every morning, you come back from your morning walk and you sit, or before you go on a morning walk, you sit and you do one origami piece, or you just doodle, or whatever. Just as, yes, after having my son, I gained weight back, but I had to learn to work out and get moving. Mir says that Jo is doing very hard exercise. She is. She is working hard. Squirrel Sniper says, I never hear my saw, only others. Funny that. Just like the sun rays coming to our own feet and own their own. Sort of what I suspected, that it probably doesn't even feel like a tool, but more like an extension of Squirrel Sniper, a lengthening of your arms into a blade. Joe Delaney says, I thought about videos first. My thoughts. My natural answer is both. Why limit yourself? Not that you are, but at the same time, I got a boatload of free time. Not everyone has my free time, so they might not be able to do both. Maybe one live stream session. Here's the great thing, you've heard quite a few of us mention. Live stream starts building you up watch hours now, so that at the same time you're gaining subscribers, you're also gaining watch hours. Also, it's a great chance to interact with people who have a lot of questions that they might want to address with someone who's been there and has been successful at it, continuously successful at it. So you could think of the live streams as a way of making Joe Delaney accessible to those who need to hear um, the importance of healing. Of course, you can do that with your videos as well, but you don't quite have the same interaction. Um, so I would think maybe focus on videos, but maybe once a week have a live stream, and then people will know this is the day. It's Thursday, whatever time o'clock, whatever day you pick. This is the day I get to ask Joe a question and be able to interact personally with her. Signatures here. Greetings from UK and thumbs up for me. I appreciate that, my friend. I was spending a little bit of time on your channel today, taking a beautiful walk with our friend Signature. Mir says hi to Sniper. And everyone else. Some great greetings. Squirrel Sniper says, greetings, Mir Ahmed. Enjoying the last 3 hours of South Coast sunshine. Still blue skies here in Brighton. Squirrel Sniper, how close to the coast are you actually? When I hear South Coast, I think, you know, like being right up on the coast, but I don't think that's actually how it is. So, yeah, for me, I took a very intuitive approach to my channel. I didn't really have plans. I started my channel as I was finishing off my certification as a meditation teacher, as well as breath coach. And it was a way for my instructors to view my teaching. I didn't have any plans for that until I was encouraged to put out a burpee video, and I became a burpee channel. I didn't have any plans for being anything other than a burpee channel until I found that after I did my burpees, I started talking about all the stuff that I talk about. And then I started doing, you know, other videos just of me talking. For some reason, last July, I got the urge to go live. I don't know why. And I've been doing that ever since. And my channel has grown. It's taken shape. That I started thinking about what I could do with it, what I could do with live streams. You know, could I be of service in any way to anyone, even one person? Joe says, I get so nervous about getting on live stream and talking, but I'm guessing I will have to just do it to get comfortable. It's a good thought. I don't know. Oddly enough, when I was doing the videos of me teaching meditation, I was extremely nervous, and it wasn't live, but I just had a camera on me. After I was doing my set of burpees and I started talking, I was too tired to be nervous. When I started doing live streams, things just naturally started coming out, and I was surprised. And I was surprised at how much fun. It was a little bit of an adrenaline rush as well. That it was a little scary, that it was a little uncomfortable. But I made up my mind early to be perfectly fine with being uncomfortable, to allow myself every mistake that I make. Being unapologetic, not to other people. I'm always willing to say I'm sorry to someone, but to be unapologetic with myself, meaning that there was no need for me to apologize to myself because I was just being me. And that means I stumble over words, and guys, You see me stumble over words. That was perfectly okay. If you see me make a mistake, if you see me change my view, if you see me contradict myself, it's just me. It's just all of us. The only difference, I think, me 10 years ago, if I caught myself in a contradiction, I would backtrack. And I would think I'm being untrue to myself or I'm being inauthentic. Instead of, what are the words? Let's go there real quick. Let's fire up the Google machine. What are the words with Walt Whitman? Leaves the grass. This occurred to me. Walt Whitman, Leaves the Grass. This is verse 51. Do I contradict myself? Very well then, I contradict myself. I am large. I contain multitudes. So, obviously we don't try to be authentic, because if we're trying to be authentic, we're actually not being authentic. Although, if you think of it in a larger aspect, trying to be authentic is authentically trying to be authentic. There's no such thing as not being authentic. As long as you're okay with what's happening. As long as you relax with the experience of making mistakes. As long as you relax with the experience of not being relaxed. Allow every paradox. Allow every contradiction. Allow yourself to be nervous. Allow yourself to stumble over words. And it'll all come out perfectly Joe Delaney, as only Joe Delaney can do it. Joe says, well, almost a year. Yeah, and actually, to tell you how dialed in, some might say retentive I can be. I haven't missed a day. Duncan Walsh, the fitness legend, the burpee legend, fresh off of International Burpee Day, Worldwide Burpee Day. Medic says, fear not, we come in peace, earthlings. We'll see about that. It's not the first time I've heard that from an alien. Let's see. Skip over the highs. Duncan says, no chance to jump in the burpee day when you're doing yours. Great chance to promote your channel. I've actually done my burpees for the day. It'll be over by my next session. Yeah, Osiris mentioned several times, and a couple other people, Lewis, just didn't feel like the right time for me to do that. Hard to explain. But I have it up and running. I enjoyed watching you do your reps. I'm glad you got a chance to do it when Lewis and Unk were finishing up. Score Semper says, sometimes the mistake is the winning outcome. This is true. And of course, we're absolutely free to not think of it as a mistake. It's just what's happening. It's just what's occurring in the moment. By whose judgment is it a mistake? Someone is always free to judge it as a mistake. That doesn't mean that we have to. Duncan saying hey to everyone. Medic says, if you're trying to be authentic, then you're not being authentic by the sheer nature of your trying. I mostly agree. That's sort of like what I originally said, and then I thought, unless trying is part of the authenticity. I don't know. Again, a bit of a paradox. Duncan says it's over now. I meant to do it when you were doing yours. Did you feel it was not part of your daily routine? Sort of throw your day out of sync? Exactly. I knew I wouldn't have been able to do it for an hour. It would sort of I wasn't willing at this point. I wasn't willing to sacrifice a moment of some of the other stuff that I'm doing right now, which feels vital to me, if that makes sense. That there'll come a time in the near future when I'm going to relax on some things, but now is not the right time to do so. I've had a few signs of, I've mentioned before, I got a lifetime of low-level depression that I've sat with. I don't want to say that I overcome or I worked with. I sat with anxiety and panic attacks, and I'm very mindful of how that energy flows, how it ebbs and flows. So when I see things maybe heading in a direction, I don't try to circumnavigate it, but I just try to be open and mindful of what I'm doing. The biggest thing for me, I'm often asked, how did you overcome depression? And I always say, I've never overcome depression. But I'm okay with being depressed. I don't make demands of myself to not be depressed. I don't make demands of myself to not feel anxiety. And I used to, because as someone who taught meditation, as someone who taught the entire path of yoga, I thought that, here's the thing, going along with what our friend Medic was saying, I thought it would be inauthentic of me to admit to myself or others that I was suffering from depression, or that I was suffering from, I shouldn't even use the word suffering. I guess then I was suffering. Now I have depression, but I don't suffer from depression. I have anxiety at times, but I don't suffer from anxiety. I've been very fortunate that I get to sit with my anxiety and see what it offers me. I'm very fortunate that I get to sit with depression and see what it offers me, as well as what it offers others. Let's go, hey, I quoted Whitman, an all-time favorite. Let's go with Rumi, The Guest House. I'll read that in a minute. Let's get caught up here. Helavetka, Helavetka. Making sure I still got it. I said it once. Is here. Welcome, my friend. Nice to see you. Flower was asking about you. Duncan says I got a PR on 6 counts and it wasn't recorded. Well, how did that happen? I thought everything was on camera there. Squirrel Sniper says Yoda was correct in saying first one must unlearn all that has been learned. Wise words from Yoda. Helavetica says, hey yo. Mira says, Duncan, amazing session. I've never seen, you know what? I guess there's been a time when Duncan Walsh has hit the wall, when he's had a less than amazing session. I haven't seen it. Duncan says, yes, I suspected it would be related to that. We all have our demons to battle. We certainly do. sort of the approach with my channel is, um, hey, let's all sit with our demons together. Joe says, it's managed now. Um, well, or medication has been offered in the past, not too long ago. It's been recommended, but I've always chosen not to. I've never taken medication for depression. I have for anxiety, um, but managed. I don't know. I don't think it's been managed. It's been accepted. Um, Man, there's a whole lot offered in acceptance. It's a game changer. It's a nature changer that I don't need to. I don't need to not be depressed. I don't need to not be have anxiety. I'll tell you what, anxiety is a little tougher than depression for me because I can immediately sit with depression. I see it coming from a long ways. It doesn't just hit. I see it sort of building within my life. And it's never been that I'm getting in bed and I'm not getting out. It's been much lighter. I have people very close to me who suffer, and my mother was one, who suffer from anxiety. But anxiety, when it hits, at first it's almost impossible to talk yourself out of it. I guess what's changed for me is that I don't try to talk myself out of anything. That first I recognize, first I become aware, and then I offer myself care. This is what's happening. The only way is to sit with it. The only way is to go through it, to experience it, to allow it. If I fight it, especially anxiety, if you fight anxiety, you just create anxiety. And you start putting in that judgment. Am I winning? Am I not winning? Is it gaining? It becomes a self-perpetuating wheel of suffering. So I step off the wheel and I just allow. Regulated breath work, 3 times a day and therapeutically as needed, as I was taught and how I was taught to talk, have been amazing. I've always done breath work as part of yoga for 30 plus years, 40 years actually, but I never did it correctly, meaning that the vast majority of yogic breath work that's taught isn't really truly pranayama. But when I learned that every breath has a purpose, every method of breathing has a reason, that's when everything began changing as far as the anxiety. Flower says, I keep going, AFK. AFK. I don't know what that means. Helvetica says, finally name Flower again. Yes, Flower has returned in all of her glory. The presence of Flower changes the very nature of the channel. Duncan says, watching me stagger about was not pretty. It's part of the fun. It's part of the fun. Flower says, nom. Helvetica says, feeling tired recently. All right, I didn't slip too far behind. Duncan says, standard prescription is an over burpees. Hey, I'm making some changes in my burpees. I'm going, it is what it is, burpee reaper approach, a little bit. So I'm going to be cutting down, but I'm still going to be doing, once, maybe twice a week, I still want to be doing intervals. So here's a question for you, Duncan. I'm going to be doing some light, higher rep weight work, or dips, or pull-ups. for my burpees. 2 or 3 sets, a body part per day. What is the minimum effective dose of interval burpees, time-wise, do you think? Anything less is not worth doing. Rebecca says also, I don't like coming to stream anymore. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, but things come in cycles. Life changes. Squirrel Sniper says, catch you all later. Viewing classes start in 2 minutes. Catch you all later. Hey, Squirrel Sniper, thanks for stopping in. Much appreciated. AFK means away from keyboard. Awesome. Because of nom nom nom. Nom. So, let me read this real quick. If people want to know the art and the joy of acceptance, of allowing, of just sitting with what is present, whatever it might be. This is from the great, great Persian poet, Rumi, 12th century, I believe. It's a Sufi poet. This being human is a guest house. Every morning a new arrival, a joy, a depression, a meanness. Some momentary awareness comes as an unexpected visitor. Welcome and entertain them all, even if they are a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture. Still, treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. The dark thought, the shame, the malice, meet them all at the door, laughing, and invite them in. Be grateful for whatever comes, because each has been sent as a guide from beyond. Absolutely love the thought. I love the line. Let's see. Even if they are a crowd of sorrows who violently sweep your house empty of its furniture, still treat each guest honorably. He may be clearing you out for some new delight. Some of the best writing that I've ever done has been through dark moments, have been through experiences of anxiety, has been through the darkest, saddest days of sitting with my dad as he was dying. Helvetica says, Yogi, you should do a reading stream once in a while. Well, I do that short one in the morning. Helvetica says, just random funny Torah verse I found. I like the script. So, yep, that was Rumi the Guest House. And that is the power of just allowing what we're allowing without need of it being other. This is the that's the lesson of the Buddha. This is the difference between life happening, and suffering. This is why originally in the Pali language of the Buddha, he said life, it's been translated as life is suffering. What he actually said was life is dukkha. Dukkha is Pali for transient, for change. That we suffer because we seek to hold that which is already changing, and we can't. So what the Buddha teaches, what the Buddha taught, was how to let go of suffering but not how to overcome grief, not how to overcome sadness, not how to overcome grieving. When you are grieving, you simply grieve. Suffering comes when we say, I no longer want to grieve. I no longer want this to be what this is. And of course, we can't do that, because this will only be what this is until it is something other. It's also the path of yoga. Yoga is learning to hold our suffering, learning to examine, to study, to dive in to our suffering, seeing why we suffer. And when we dive in and we see grief, we realize grief isn't causing our suffering. Our ignorance of grieving is causing us to suffer. Our attachment to feeling good is causing us to suffer, because we're pushing grief away. We want to feel good. We don't want to grieve. The thing is, we can only experience what we experience for however long we experience it. Helvetica says, can you show us your book list? I mean, suggested books you've written down. Probably not. Because what I'll try to do is, you see, maybe you could see, it's just filled up with all kinds of random notes. And that's just one. Here's a little list of books that I've read the past few months. And then I have my little book of, this is mainly for inspiration. You can also see how bad my handwriting is, by the way. This is when random thoughts of inspiration strike me. And I have books like that all over the house. Yeah, I didn't know my cat was here. So guys, excuse me for 1 second. Helvetica says my hand, what did I even mean? What language am I writing down? What is this foreign scribble? That makes absolutely no sense to me. Give me 1 second, guys. Okay, sorry about that. You guys hear the chainsaw going on? They're still cleaning up after the tornado. Sad seeing some of the trees I grew up with disappearing. Helvetica says, did Yogi just time travel by a second? I might have. According to Patanjali, in the third Padma of the Yoga Sutras, time travel is a possibility for an advanced yogi. But I'm not an advanced yogi. I'm just a yogi. Let's see. Um, hey, Eric Lapointe, are you still with us? I don't know if you heard me mention at the beginning of the conversation that today, this morning, was a great little moment with three foxes. Two I caught on film. Um, one I didn't. One ran off too quick. And then I spent time with an owl right at um, just after daybreak. So I had just enough light to be able to catch it very nicely. Um, man, I love those moments when they happen. Foxes haven't been easy for me to catch because they're so quick. But every once in a while, if you're lucky, you catch one that's curious and they want to look at you as much as you want to look at them, and they'll just sit there for a while. Billy Shue says, "Hi, I'm back. Welcome back, my friend. Just scrolled in again. I appreciate that." Eric Point says, "Yeah, I'll check it out." Yep, I posted one. I'll be sitting on the other two. I don't want to oversaturate the fox market. Helvetica. It's still not easy for me. I'm getting better. Though when you read my comment about my handwriting being bad, you hard cutting to leaving maybe a glitch on YouTube, but could be time travel. I'm voting for time travel. Billy Shue says, I have a fox baby at my house. That's awesome. They're such amazing animals to watch. One of my all-time favorites. I feel gifted. Whenever, even when I don't catch them on film, when I can't get my camera up, it doesn't seem to matter. The fact that I saw it, the fact that I got to spend a moment in the grace of a fox. Helvetica says, "What does the fox say?" Man, I can't believe you remember that song. I haven't thought of that song in 10 years. I'm going to be honest with you. I've been completely happy not thinking of that song for 10 years. And now, thanks to our friend Helvetica, it's going to be in my head. Outer, listening, I got chainsaws. Inside, I got what does the fox say? That is truly suffering, my friends. Helvetica says that's a funny song. Yeah, it's a funny bad song. You know what? I shouldn't judge that. For me, it's a bad song. But someone else, hey, it might be classic. It might be a masterpiece. Who's to say? There's room for all of our likes. There's room for all of our dislikes. And we don't need to ever impose them upon another. It's enough for them to be just ours. I'm perfectly entitled to like what I like. I'm perfectly entitled to dislike what I dislike. However, the shame would be to cling to my dislikes without creating room to experiment. Case in point, in the 80s, I was supposed to dislike rap music, hip hop, because I was, in the 80s, I was a Grateful Dead, late stage hippie, going to concerts, going to shows, long hair, all that thing. So I missed out on some great music until later, when I opened myself up to listen to things that I didn't have to initially like. And I found that, you know what, I really like it. Not all of it, but I don't like every Grateful Dead song. In my early years, I try to listen to jazz because I absolutely love the Beat Generation. Jack Kerouac, Neil Cassidy, Allen Ginsberg. Uh, Jazz was the soundtrack of their souls, and I couldn't get it. Flash forward, maybe not flash, let's say uh, time travel forward to, I guess, about 10 years ago, and I read a wonderful book, Bop, it's back on my shelf, Bop Apocalypse, which is about the Beat Generation. It's about drugs, it's about jazz, and it's a wonderful book. Um, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to listen to jazz again. I'm going to try it again. And I absolutely fell in love with it. And it's one of the things that I listen to probably more than anything, with the exception of older, well, not the exception. I also sneak in a little bit of older country and western. Bad, bad, funny song. Agree. Helvetica says, I've been procrastinating more now. Helvetica says, I thought you were too old to know what the Fox say, Yogi. Well, remember, that came out about what? Um, Probably about 14 years ago. So I wasn't always old. Although 14 years ago I was still sort of old. What was I? 45? Bounced light. I always do. Duncan says, do you like the really random type jab, 1920s versus 1960s? Um, I'm not super crazy about Dixieland jazz. Um, and I do like Louis Armstrong, but not my favorite. When we start getting into the late 40s, when we start getting into Charlie Parker, and then the 50s, and then, man, in the late 50s, with the stunning leap of creativity of Miles Davis and John Coltrane, um, now we're talking my jazz. I remember reading the impact listening to Charlie Parker had on Jack Kerouac, and literally changed his life. Um, and then I like all the way up until early 70s with some jazz rock fusion. Alice Coltrane, quite a bit. Helvetica says that he was one when it came out. See, so it's not surprising that I remember it, but it is surprising that you know of it. I was 4 years old when the Beatles broke up. Well, I don't know. I guess technically I was 5. They were over in 69. They didn't officially break up until 70. And I could say I was 5 years old when the Beatles officially broke up. And I could say that the Beatles were most definitely the soundtrack of my life. Never a period in my life when I have not been listening to the Beatles. And our friend Hybrid Jim, who lives in Great Britain, told me he is not a fan of the Beatles or the Rolling Stones, which I thought British. I thought it was like in the national constitution that you had to love the Beatles and appreciate the Stones, or love the Stones and appreciate the Beatles. Duncan Walsh, what's your view on that? Helvetica says, I know since I was a kid surfing the web. Underrated. Unmoderated. Sorry. Helvetica says, and I mean unmoderated. We should always be moderated in our online activities. Random suggestion. I don't necessarily mean that. Our friend Jacob's here. Jacob put in some big reps today. Jacob, what was your final tally in the reps? Jacob says, hey, Brother Eric, I want to drop by and say many blessings to you and everyone here. Salute to you, my friend. Definitely proud of you. Way to step up. How did it affect your knee? Rebecca says, I grew up messed up as heck. You're still growing up. We all are. We'll all grow up together. Hello Flower says, cheese. Cheese as you're going to take a photo and I should smile? Or cheese as you're going to eat some cheese? Joe Delaney says, have a great rest of your day, Yogi and everyone. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate you coming in and the conversation. And I really appreciate you answering my questions. Thank you. Flower says, Nom. 460 reps. Amazing. So our friend Jacob did 460 burpees for today after an extended burpee layoff because of a hurt knee. On burpee day, he stepped up, he put it on the line. Way to go. If I'm not mistaken, that's the most that you've done, right? Jacob says, hey to Joe Delaney, blessings to you. Leviticus says, I wouldn't say my parents are abusive, but negligent. They don't care about me or my brother. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. Not knowing your parents, I can't offer a contrary view. Instinctively, I want to say, well, we never know the experience of someone else, what they're doing, what they're going through. But at the same time, I can never diminish what you're going through and how you feel. And if that's the way you feel, I can only accept it without offering some kind of contrary opinion, saying, oh, that can't be true, because I don't know. Again, why wouldn't I take you at your word? So what I can do is simply say, I'm sorry to hear that, because as a young man that I've gotten to know a little bit, as much as you can know somebody through an online conversation, you're a very intelligent, caring person, and you deserve to know that. So we'll leave it at that. Halabitka loves cheese. If I had not read Flower's comment above, that would be the most random comment I've gotten on YouTube. But it has context. So yes, Eric Point says, great job, Jacob. Definitely a great job. It went well for the most. My knee was hurting a little during the time I was putting on the reps, but it slowed down and it got better over time. Awesome. Hopefully it's going to recover well. So hopefully you'll be back in action. You plan on taking tomorrow off, or you got some reps in you? Helvetica says, everyone thinks of Pride Month on June, but people never think of June as Men's Mental Health Month. This is true. I have never thought about it. Hey, Jacob, check out Eric LaPointe's reps on his channel. He stepped up. Not only did he step up and do them, he stepped up and filmed it and shared it with everyone. And, you could tell that he was tentative, that he had been practicing, but this was the first time that he was, diving in the deep end. But he shared it with everyone. To me, that's as amazing as doing the reps himself. Jacob says, I don't know. We'll see, brother. Duncan says, sorry, left for a moment. Like both Stones and the Beatles. Awesome. Both. Yeah, I like both. Amazed the Stones are still touring, and that Mick Jagger still looks amazingly like Mick Jagger, and Keith Richards still looks amazingly like Keith Richards. But Keith Richards looked that way when he was 12. But the Beatles were definitely the soundtrack of my life, and still are. Jacob's going to rest for the rest of the day. Good plan. Duncan says, hard to believe someone doesn't like either. It is hard to believe, and it's especially hard to believe that they're British. Hey, Duncan, have you met Jacob? Did you meet Jacob in the while you were doing burpees? I hope you two get a chance to, if you haven't met, you both put in some big reps today. Oh, and Duncan, you never said what your, you got a PR by 6 reps, you said, but it wasn't captured on film. So what was the total number? And I know you continued afterwards. I know you hit extra reps. Just Yogi doing burpees in his basement is back. It's been a while. Duncan says, hey, Jacob may have had different zones. Hey, Jacob. Duncan might have some answers for your knee. Oh, and speaking of Duncan and answers, I don't know if you heard my question. I'm making some changes in my workout. I'm going to be doing my burpees, less reps, for a little while after I do some strength work with either kettlebell or maybe dumbbells, pull-ups, dips. I might add some weight in eventually. We'll see. I want to keep intervals in the mix, but since I'll be doing it after I do something, what do you think is the lowest dose of intervals to still be effective, to worth doing? I did 16 minutes, and that felt pretty good, and I included the 2-minute burst at the end. Just a Yogi doing burpees in his basement says, how are you, me? Let's see. So one thing, guys, don't do the channel, my name in the channel, as it will confuse people. And I don't want, if we do that, then I'll definitely end the live session. And I will end live sessions and I won't do them again, because I don't want people to think that I'm saying anything that I don't say. That I feel that my channel is starting to have a message that I want it to have, and I take it serious. I don't take a whole lot of things seriously in my life, meaning I take it seriously, but I'm not afraid to joke about it. So anything that conflicts with a message that I have that is meant to help people, I would just walk away from, honestly. So anyone who respects me, thinks of me as a friend, likes me, I I would hope that they would never actually want to do such a thing. Duncan says, same to you, Jacob. How was your day of burpees? Oh, I missed it. Duncan says, PR for 6 counts was 325. Wow. But had 7 or 8 spare seconds as I quickly tried to get the signal back. Then did 351 Navy SEALs. Man, you put it all out there today. You got a salute from Jacob. Well-deserved salute. So I might not go live for 14 days then. Seriously. The problem is that you have a wrench. And there's no way for people to say that you're saying something and I'm saying something. And you and I have entirely different things to talk about, things to say. So it's important to consider the type of actions that we take and how it affects other people. Jacob says, thank you, brother. And it was great. Tough, but it was a great time to support and put in some reps with everyone else. Yeah, it was an amazing concept put forth by Osiris to bring everyone together, and a great opportunity for people to say, I'm going to do something big. I know Aldo, Crusade Motivation, had been planning. He wanted to get some big reps for today. I haven't heard what he's done for today. That Lewis and Unk did the Holy Grail again. And Duncan, some big reps. Leviticus says, okay, Yogi, calm down. I have like 7 alts. Funny enough, you guys have never seen me not calm. The only one who really has, and she could probably count on one hand and have fingers to spare, would be Mocha. And even then, I think I was pretty calmly angry. But one thing, Helvetica, is that, again, as I see my channel sort of taking shape in my mind of what I want to do, of wanting to be able to create a presence for people to come and feel safe and talk about whatever, means that sometimes I need to set those boundaries that I don't always like setting, and be a little more like, what's the word? I don't want to say stern. I don't think I've ever been stern, but I need to be protective, if that makes sense. And that if people come here and they expect just a yogi to be responsive, and they get something other, it's not fair for anything. Having said that, that's really like the only boundaries that I have. And I've actually have lost people coming into the channel because they said I don't have. They said, hey, they like the channel, they like what I talk about, but they feel that I don't have the proper boundaries. From their perspective, they're absolutely right. From my perspective, I don't know. I'm feeling my way. I don't say they're wrong, but I'm feeling my way through what works, what doesn't work. Which also means I got to think what works for other people, not just for me. At a certain point, if you're trying to be of service, you can't think of it as your channel. I can't think of it as my channel any longer, if that makes sense. Duncan says, I actually could feel myself cooling down with the grind, even though it was still pushing. You need more rest, and I noticed I wasn't sweating as much. Interesting. Duncan says, has someone copied your channel name? Briefly so. Duncan says, I was surprised that was allowed by YouTube. Yeah, so was I. It took me a second to adjust. I actually wouldn't mind. Well, I wouldn't care. Except with the wrench, people would think that it actually is me, if that makes sense. If it didn't have the wrench, then people wouldn't, they'd be able to compare and contrast. But overall, Helvetica was understanding. When I explained it to him, he was understanding. He was cool. So, hey, in my opinion, no harm, no foul. Duncan says, I thought the 14-day period was only when you changed it 3 times. It seems YouTube is making all kinds of changes back and forth. So, either way, in either case, I hit that 2-hour mark. A slight feat of verbal endurance. Duncan says, is the person sure they have to wait 14 days? Well, it's our friend Helvetica, also known as Night Watcher, also known as just a Night Watcher doing burpees in his basement. He changes his name fairly often, so yeah, I'm pretty sure he knows what's going on. Silent moderator. Hey, you know what? That's a good name. Okay, full mod mode now. I am not Night Watcher Helvetica. Now I am lurking mod. Hey, you're always free to do more than lurk. No, I don't. Well, let's call you Silent Mod. Although just when I was almost getting used to saying Helvetica, that I value your input. So always free. Always feel free to lurk. Always feel free to participate. Either way. But I think that I'm slowly putting out the things that I'm asking people to be respectful of. And so far, I gotta say, everyone's been like 100% cool with everything I've asked. So it's very much appreciated. Jacob says, salute, Brother Eric. Salute to you, Jacob. Man, heck of a job, my friend. Awesome. So, with that, guys, I need to step back I'll be back in about 2 hours. And we'll see what happens. I'm surprised that I actually had some people show up at all, as I was thinking with our World Burpee Day that people would be too tired. Hey, Duncan, before we go, Duncan was saying, how short of a session are you thinking looking with your intervals? I was thinking no less than 14, no more than 22. But even 22 might be, I might do them on my in-between day. Flower says, okay. Thank you, Flower. I'm hoping Mocha gets a chance to stop by so we can see the traditional hello, Flower, hello, Mocha salutations between each other. Silent Mod says, yeah, it's 9 minutes overdue. Flower says, chat's half blue. It is almost. Well-deserved wrenches, though. Well-deserved for everyone. Whenever Flower wants to step up and get a wrench, all she has to do is let me know. She's ready for the nod. Well, I'm almost sorry that I asked Duncan for his advice. 4 times 2 minutes with 90 seconds rest in 12 minutes. Let me write that down. I like that and I don't like that. Thanks, Duncan. Oh, one last thing before I go. Duncan, make sure you check out Eric Lapointe. Make sure you check out Eric Lapointe, who put his burpees out there today. He stepped up. 50 burpees in 30 seconds. I dare you. I'd have to put on my yogic super speed. Might be a possibility. So, yeah, Duncan, if you get a chance, check out Eric Lapointe. With that, guys, I definitely got to say bye. I'll be back in about 2 hours. If you're bored, come on by. I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.